Okay, so let's move to the first part. What is planning? First, we will have planning definition and formal planning.
Hello everyone, my name is Như and now I will talk about planning. So, what is planning? So, planning involves defining the organization's goals, establishing strategies for achieving these goals, and developing plans to integrate and coordinate work activities. It's concerned with both ends and means, that which is what and how. So when we use the term planning, we mean formal planning. In formal planning, specific goals covering a specific time period are defined. These goals are written and shared with organizational members to reduce ambiguity and create a common understanding about what we needs to be done. And finally, specific plans exist for achieving these goals.
So, why do managers plan? There are four reasons for planning: provide direction, reduce uncertainty, minimize waste and redundancy, sets the standards for controlling.
So, why should managers plan? I can give you at least four reasons. First, planning provides direction to managers and non managers alike. When employees know what their organization or work unit is trying to accomplish and what they must contribute to reach goals, they can coordinate their activities, cooperate with each other, and do what it takes to accomplish these goals. Next, planning reduces uncertainty by forcing managers to look ahead, anticipating change, consider the impact of change, and develop appropriate responses. Although planning won't eliminate uncertainty, managers plan so they can respond effectively. So, in addition, planning minimizes waste and redundancy. When work activities are coordinated around plans, ineffectiveness become obvious and can be corrected or eliminated. So finally, planning establishes the goals or standards used in controlling. When managers plan, they develop the goals and the plans. When they control, they see whether the plans have been carried out and the goals met. So the next part is planning and performance. So there are numerous studies have shown general positive relationships between planning and performance. Formal planning is associated with positive financial results like higher profits, higher return on assets, and so on. So doing a good job of planning and implementing those plans plays a bigger part in high performance than how much planning is done. In those studies where formal planning didn't lead to the higher performance, the external environment often was the culprit. When external forces, think governmental regulations or powerful labor unions, contrast managers' option, it reduces the impact planning has on an organization's performance. And finally, the planning performance relationship seems to be influenced by the planning time frame. It seems that at least 4 years of formal planning is required before it begins to affect performance.
Hey Sky, I'm Nhi. Today I will talk to you guys about compare and contrast approaches to goal setting and planning. Let's start with setting goals. Firstly, approaches to setting goals. In traditional goal setting, goals set by top management flow down through the organization and become sub-goals for each organizational areas. When the hierarchy of organizational goals is clearly defined, it forms an interactive network of goals or a means-ends chain. Moreover, instead of using traditional goal setting, many organizations use management by objectives. a process of setting mutual agreed upon goals and using those goals to evaluate employee performance. Secondly, step in goal setting. Managers should follow 5 steps when setting goals. Step 1. Review the organization vision or purpose. Step 2. Evaluate available resources. Step 3. Determine the goals individually or with input from others. Step 4. Write down the goals and communicate them to all who need to know. Step 5. Review results and whether goals are being met. Moving to planning, we have contingency factors in planning. There are 3 contingency factors affect the choice of plans: organizational level, degree of environmental uncertainty, and length of future commitments. Thirdly, length of future commitment. Current plans affecting future commitments should be sufficiently long-term in order to meet those commitments. It's called commitment concept. Secondly, organization level. We have 3 levels here: first level managers, middle level managers, and top executive. For the most part, lower level managers do operational planning, while upper level managers do strategic planning. Thirdly, environmental uncertainty. When uncertainty is high, plans should be specific but flexible. Managers should be prepared to change as they are implemented. In addition, the 2 main approaches to planning include traditional approach, which had plans developed by top managers that flow down through all the organizational levels, and which may use a formal planning department. The older approach is to involve more organizational members in the planning process. That's all. Thank you for your listening.
I'm Lin, and in my part, I'm going to discuss contemporary issues in planning. In an uncertain environment, managers should develop plans that are specific but flexible. Although this may seem contradictory, it's not. To be useful, plans need some specificity, but the plans should not be set in stone. Managers need to recognize that planning is an ongoing process. The plans serve as a roadmap, although the destination may change due to dynamic market conditions. They should be ready to change directions if environmental conditions warrant. A manager analysis of the external environment may be improved by environmental scanning, which involves screening information to detect emerging trends. One of the fastest-growing forms of environmental scanning is competitor intelligence, gathering information about competitors that allow managers to anticipate competitor actions rather than merely reacting to them. It seeks basic information about competitors. Who are they? What are they doing? How will what they doing affect us?
Hi, I'm going to talk about case 1 in chapter 8. So, this case is about the crisis of the Livestrong organization. The first question is, I think that is impossible for the organization to plan for this type of situation because no one can ever think that the founder of Livestrong would use dope in his legendary cycling career. Moreover, as good friend, Oman had believed that Lance Armstrong was innocent, so it is impossible to anticipate this type of situation for the first time. The second question, in this type of situation, goal will help the employees of organization know exactly what is the desired outcomes or objectives of that organization. It helps the employees to exactly know the objective of their action. In such situation, stated goal and real goal might be necessary for Livestrong company, because with these goals, the organization will able to rebuild their images and gain the support of many people back. Now let's move to the third question. Strategic plans, long-term plan, and directional plan would be useful for Livestrong because rebuilding the images of the organization is not an easy task and require every employee to know about the organization's overall goals. Moreover, goals like this will require a long time and well prepared. That's why long-term plans would be useful. Furthermore, external environments are also important and need to be carefully treated with plans that are flexible. Now, the next question, I think that the lessons that we can learn from Livestrong organization is that consider the worst case scenario, the leadership wrongdoing, and make a plan fighting against it. The second one is exercise the plans when the scenario is developed, and the best way to do that is role play. And the last lesson is when an incident does occur, don't hide but instead communicate quickly to all employees, staff, and public. Turn this into an opportunity versus a crisis. So that's the end of my presentation.
The first part will be what is strategic management?
So strategic management is what managers do to develop the organization's strategies. It's an important task involving all the basic management functions like planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. So what are an organization's strategies? There are the plans for how the organization will do whatever it's in business to do, how it will compete successful, and how it will attract and satisfy its customers in order to achieve its goals. So one term often used in strategic management is business model, which simply is how a company is going to make money. It focuses on two things. First, whether customers will value what the company is providing or whether the company can make more money doing that.
Let's move on to why is strategic management important. So there are 3 reasons why strategic management is important to us. First, second, and finally.
Why is strategic management is important? So there are 3 reasons. The most significant one is that it can make a difference in how well an organization performs. In other words, it appears that organizations that use strategic management do have higher level of performance, and that fact makes it pretty important to managers. Another reason is important has to do with the fact that managers in organizations of all types and size face continually changing situations. They cope with this uncertainty by using this strategic management process to examine relevant factors and decide what actions to take. Finally, strategic management is important because organizations are complex and diverse. Each part needs to work together toward achieving the organization's goals. Strategic management helps do this. So, combine the 3 reasons together, we know that why strategic management is so important to us. Thank you for listening.
Guys, I'm Yi. Now I will present to you guys about 3 types of corporate strategies. But firstly, what is corporate strategies? Is it an organizational strategy that determines what business a company is in or want to be in? and what it wants to do with your business. It includes three types: growth, stability, renewal. First of all, growth strategy. When an organization expands the number of market shares and product offerings, an organization that grows using concentration focus on its primary line of business and increase the number of product offerings. A company also might choose to grow by vertical integration, either backward, forward, or both. In horizontal integration, a company grows by combining with competitors, and of course, an organization can grow through diversification, either related or unrelated. Secondly, stability strategies. A corporate strategy in which an organization continues to do what it is currently doing. Thirdly, when an organization is trouble, something needs to be done. Managers need to develop strategies, collect renewal strategies that address declining performance. The two main types of renewal strategy are retrainment and turnaround strategy. In addition, the BCG Matrix, a strategy tool that guides resource allocation decisions on the basis of market share and role play of SBUs. There are four categories: SPAR, Casco, question marks, dogs. That's it. Thank you for your listening.
Now I'm going to describe competitive advantage and the competitive strategies that organizations use to get it. Developing an effective competitive strategy requires an understanding of competitive advantage, which is what sets an organization apart, that is, its distinctive edge. When an organization competes on the basis of having the lowest cost, it's following a cost leadership strategy. A low-cost leader is highly efficient. Overhead is kept to a minimum, and the firm does everything it can to cut costs. A company that competes by offering unique products that are widely valued by customers is following a differentiation strategy. Product differences might come from exceptionally high quality, innovative design, technological capability, or an unusually positive brand image. Practically any successful consumer product or service can be identified as an example of the differentiation strategy. Although these two competitive strategies are aimed at the broad market, the final type of competitive strategy, the focus strategy, involves a cost advantage or a differentiation advantage in a narrow segment or niche. Segments can be based on product variety, customer type, distribution channel, or geographical location.
Hi, hello everyone. So now I will tell you the information about a case of Zara, which is a very famous Spanish company. So I think in this case they used a competitive strategy. We can see that when they make every effort to produce more clothes faster than other company, for example twice a week. We call it the fast fashion. And the Zara's employees, managers, they looks at their computers to scrutinize the sales at every store. And when Zara they produced most of its clothing close to home where they're being sold. So the SWOT analysis in this case, we can see the strength of Zara is that the stores are stocked with new designs twice a week, and the SWOT analysis they help the Zara to minimize the waste by using computer programs to arrange and rearrange clothing patterns on the massive fabric rolls. What competitive advantage of Zara is that they get new design from drawing board to the store floor in only 2 weeks, so that the stores are always stocked with new designs. And which is a very great match to the needs associated with the internet sales. The strategy implications the Zara do is they use the fast fashion to make quick responsive to the customer liking.